Hey there, horror fans! How's it going? It's Douglas here at Dromboy Productions, bringing you another Screaming Ghostface Collectors video. And today we're going to be taking a look at all the different promotional items from Cinemark for Scream 6. Now there are two different groups of promotional items for Scream 6. At Cineplex, they do have a cup that is double-sided, or I guess it's a wraparound print, but one side has a nice close-up of the mask, the other one just says Scream over and over, and then the topper is a little figurine of Ghostface. Now, I could be wrong on this one, but it looks like it's semi-articulated, like you can move the head and arms around at least. Either that or there are multiple versions of the figure because they do show it in a few different poses, but I think it's supposed to be an articulated figure. Then of course they do have printed versions of a classic style, more rectangular popcorn bucket, as well as the very large round popcorn bucket, each of those having different logos on it, I believe. I'll go ahead and check. Okay, so they look pretty similar. For the cup, you have on one side a close-up of Ghostface's mask, on the other side the word Scream repeated 6 times descending, and then that classic profile kind of silhouette shot of Ghostface, and then of course they have the topper piece with the figure. Then for the more rectangular small bucket, you have the same image as on the cup with the word repeated 6 times, and then on the opposite side, or at least one of the opposite sides, you have a nice close-up of Ghostface with a knife. But then for the large size bucket, you have a more zoomed in version of the same thing that's on the cup and the previous popcorn bucket, but the word Scream is only repeated 5 times. I'm not sure if there's anything else on that bucket, that's all we see. Anyways, the point of me explaining that is to tell you there are 2 different sets of promotional items, and they're both kind of hard to find, at least for me in my area. Luckily though, thanks to 2 awesome fans, I was able to get a complete set of everything from at least Cinemark. So I have to go ahead and give a massive shout out to fellow fans, collectors, and friends, Meggie and Skylar. They're both awesome collectors that have incredible screen use pieces in their collections, and they both thought to try and get these for me when they found them themselves. So the first one we're going to take a look at is the Ghostface Souvenir Cup. Check this little fella out. It's a pretty small cup, but actually a little bit larger than I thought it would be, just because I've heard that Cinemark's promotional items tend to be very, very small. And I don't know, I mean, it's still kind of a small cup and definitely very oddly shaped. I kind of question whether or not this would actually even sit in a cup holder at the theater, but I don't have any Cinemarks around, so I have no clue. Overall though, you can see the top here, where you can snap the lid off, fill it up with your beverage of choice. I guess you could put alcohol in here, but realistically you're going to put a nice soda, or if you're like me, probably an icy inside of this. Not a whole lot to talk about on these. It's pretty much just a solid black piece with a sticker of Ghostface here on the front. I will say the sticker does look pretty nice. It's almost like a mix in between a South Park character as well as like a Funko Pop. But overall, pretty cool details, not too terrible, and they actually do have variants of these. Of course, they have the normal black and white version, but they also happen to have a blood splattered version. Now, I do have the blood splatter sealed, so I'm not going to open it up, but it's essentially the same exact thing. And I think the normal black and white do also come sealed, but I haven't seen too many of those sealed. The next item is probably the weirdest promotional piece that we're taking a look at today. Here we have another Ghostface plush. This one kind of looks like the Kid Robot one, but it is a little bit different, I do believe. Maybe I'm wrong on that one. If any of you own an actual one, let me know in the comments down below. But looking at the construction of it, I would say it's definitely a different figure, but it's nothing to get too excited about. Overall, I mean, it's kind of decent. It looks like he kind of has maybe a little bit of a pointy hood here in the back, but I'm not going to find out because I'm not going to unseal this thing to take a better look at it. I'm sure many of you have seen them online already. If you haven't, I'll be putting some pictures on screen of one out of the packaging. But he does come with a unique Ghostface tag here, and can't quite read the back of it, but it looks like it has some Scream 6 copyright information. It's not like it's a bad quality plush or it's undesirable or anything like that. It's just kind of an odd item to pick up while you're at the theater. You know what I mean? Like, are you going in there to go see Scream and you're going to buy this and cuddle him during the movie? Maybe so, and if you're doing that, no judgment, but I would much rather have something like the next item. Now, I'm sure you all already know what's coming next. It is definitely the item that has taken the internet and the fandom by storm. This is one of the coolest promotional pieces that's ever been made for a Scream movie, or just as Scream merchandise in general, if I'm being honest. It's pretty freaking sweet. So here we have the Ghostface head popcorn tub. This thing is so damn cool. It's like a full miniature bust of Ghostface, and it's fully accurate. And then on the back, it says a little something that we'll take a closer look at. I'm gonna go ahead and open this up for you guys so you can get a better look at it. Yet again, I'm sure many of you have already seen these, but still, oh man, that thing is so cool. So, here we have it, the Ghostface popcorn tub. So let's go ahead and address the elephant in the room. This thing is tiny. It is really, really small. This is like a snack-sized popcorn maybe, and I don't know, I mean, stuff like this, you almost definitely wouldn't want to use it for popcorn, right? You know, even if you clean it really thoroughly, once you put that butter and oil in there, it's just never going to come out. As far as the sculpture, the face on this thing is really, really accurate. It's probably a 3D scan because this thing looks absolutely amazing. One of my favorite details is they actually got the texture in the eye mesh in there, and that is just massively impressive. Overall, it's just really, really cool. Of course, you have the full sparkle shrouded hood. It is not a sparkle material or sparkle painted, plastic, but at the same time, it still has like the really, really nice texture, and this thing is awesome. If they scaled this up to a 1-to-1 size and it was just a hollow plastic piece that you set on your tabletop, people would still buy it. If they made these massive, like yard decorations and they were giant blow molds, people would definitely buy it. If they took this same thing, hollowed out the top of it, made it bigger, and gave it some handles and turned it into a trick-or-treat pail, people would still buy it. I'm not saying this to make the point that people would buy anything with Ghostface on it, because that's certainly not true. It's more so that this is such an incredibly well done sculpture and it looks so awesome that you could make this in so many different sizes and people would love it. Like I said, trick-or-treat pail, a decoration, and a yard decoration, even larger. It just is one of the coolest and most well-made Ghostface merchandise items I've ever seen. It's incredibly cool. And of course you can pop his head open and see what Ghostface is thinking about. Put your popcorn in there, or I guess technically you could use this as like a candy pail if you want to fill it up with M&Ms or something like that. Now, as far as the quote here on the back, printed here in the back, it says, "Do you like scary movies?" A little bit unnecessary, but at the same time, it's really cool. They could have left this just completely flat textured and it would have been fine, but with the addition of the quote, it's still really, really cool. Now, unfortunately, with this being one of the coolest merchandise pieces of all time, it has brought out the worst in people, and many, many people have went and bought out their entire Cinemark of every piece of this merchandise they can get their hands on, so they can immediately go drop it online for a 10 times markup. And I'm not kidding, 10 times markup. I've seen people asking over $150 for one of these when you can get them in store for $15. I think any one of these items, the cup, the plush, or the bucket, it's 15 bucks. But people are literally buying them out and not even making it out of the store before they list them for sale. I've seen pictures of them still inside the theater where they're listed for sale. I've seen pictures of them on the hood of someone's vehicle, just a whole load of them, on the hood of the vehicle right outside the theater, listed for sale. They immediately want to flip these. They have no intentions of actually collecting them. It just is really disappointing to see, especially because they released this so long before the actual release of the film. Nobody really expected these to drop. I know we had seen a little bit of promotional material, but I thought that maybe we would get them at the actual premiere, not so long before the premiere, to where they would all be sold out pretty much instantly and then regurgitated online for 10 times the price. However, luckily, due to this response, Fun World has worked with Cinemark, and I guess technically the company that puts these out is Snapco. So Snapco makes these. Fun World has worked with Snapco to do another run of these. You can buy them online now for $20 a piece. They're a little bit more expensive, but at the same time, I'm sure they're seeing that these are selling for $60, $70, $80, no problem, because people are afraid of missing out on getting something like this and having to pay incredibly high prices in the future. But personally, I've told you guys this before, and I'll tell you again, whether it come to 25th anniversary costumes, masks, robes, any of that normal merchandise that's like new merchandise, I would not pay 4 or 5 times the price or higher for brand new merchandise that has just released. I think that's a little bit unnecessary. My advice personally is to not pay those prices, but I guess if you really just really want it that bad enough and you've got money to spend like that, go for it. But yet again, personal advice, just wait it out. But luckily, I did not have to play that secondhand market thanks to Skylar and Meggie, so I have to give a massive thank you and a shout out to both of them yet again for thinking of me when they were visiting Cinemark, because now I have a full set of the Cinemark Scream 6 Ghostface promo material, and now I just have to try and complete the Cineplex set. With that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I love you all. Don't scout people. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.